Oh, you didn't think I would be gone forever, did you? No, 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 no. You can't keep me away if you tried. We return once again to this lovely series known as Wheel of Fortune. Why? Because I'm on to art. I'm on an art kick and we're doing that. And also, it's around the time that I should start recording again because I've been gone for like 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 4 weeks. I don't know. It's been a little bit. Regardless, hey, we're into October and Spooktober definitely didn't happen. So there you go. Either way, I think we should get ourselves back into some Wheel of Fortune because everybody loves this series, right? Everybody loves this series. This series is great. Everybody loves it. I know I love it. I like the series quite a lot. So guess what? We're going to do it again. And without further ado, let's spin the wheel. Spin! I hope it's something relatively simple. Gen 5? 4? Oh. Scorpy. I don't feel anything immediately, so this may be a mulligan, but let's just figure it out real quick. Alright. I did want to experiment with making a scorpion character, but not a Scorpy character. So we might come back to this at some point, but for the time being, we're gonna use one of our mulligans. Alright, mulligan number 1 is out of the way. We are down to 1 more, so let's try this again, see what we get. Spin the wheel! Something simpler, something good, something that inspires me immediately. Ooh, it's gonna be a later one. Maybe Gen 6? Ooh. Interesting. No. That's a problem. I will not be able to do anything with Malamar because what the fuck do you even do with a Malamar? There goes our last mulligan. Oh boy, whatever we're drawing is going to be this next one, and I'm not looking forward to it because we got some difficult ones off the get-go. So here we go. Spin the wheel. Crossing my, let me get my mouse out of the way. Crossing my fingers. Something good, something easy. Oh. Roserade. Interesting. I do like Roserade. Roserade is really cool. I feel generally better about getting Roserade. However, it is still a fairly weird and complex design, so that'll be interesting to figure out. But of course, before we get into actually drawing said Roserade, we gotta figure out what its color's gonna be. So once again, spin the wheel! Last time was pretty interesting because I got to choose the colors. So maybe we'll get that again? Maybe? A custom colors Roserade, you say? Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about this one now. I'm feeling really good, in fact. So 2 days in a row, we got ourselves a custom Pokemon. So it looks like we will be drawing a custom colors Roserade. That is going to be interesting, especially seeing how this is our first Pokemon that wasn't an animal. So to an extent, I won't have to do much anthroing myself because it's already kind of anthro with it being bipedal and everything. I'm getting some colors immediately to mind, especially for a color palette. So this is going to be an interesting one. I think I will be skipping the picking an outfit and everything. I might throw in some accessories, but Roserade is kind of already sort of wearing clothes, so I don't really need to pick out an outfit. So I will refine a color palette in my brain, and when I actually come to record, I will see you in Krita. What's up, Pops? It's Bixie. I hope you're having a great day and hope it gets better. Welcome back to Let's Draw. And of course, most specifically, welcome back to Wheel of Fortune, the series where you... Much like last time, we got our custom Pokemon for custom colors this time, so I'm looking forward to getting to business. But before we do that, of course, we have to talk about the comment of the week, which I picked out basically every comment from the video where I was talking about taking a break. It's very comforting to know that whenever I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'm feeling burnt out, I can rely on you guys to understand how stressful working on a YouTube channel all by yourself can be, and that you recognize that ever so often I'm gonna need a break. And it's so wonderful to have such a small community, yes, but a very devoted, very understanding, very sweet community. I appreciate all of you, and that's part of the reason I started Comment of the Week, just so I can highlight some of you lovely people, whether you're helping with games or just saying something nice or just saying something funny. I appreciate it immensely, and I love you all very much. But of course, if you would like to be the next comment of the week, you can leave a comment down below, and it can be anything you want. It can be silly, it can be stupid, it can be something completely nonsensical, and who knows, you might be the next comment of the week. Now for what's here on the docket right now for this episode of Wheel of Fortune, we are going to be doing a custom colors Roserade, which I only grabbed one reference thing here because this one from Nerdy Reindeer is pretty much what I had in mind for, you know, body type and everything. Plenty of plumpy downstairs, but not so much upstairs. That was sort of the thing I had going. So this is going to be very convenient, and this is going to be a big thumbs up and a big thank you to Nerdy Reindeer for drawing this. I am very sketched out about the cuffs because roses are very layered and complex. I may end up doing what Reindeer did and just kind of do vague lumps. I might throw in a couple extra lines to make it more look more flowery instead of a lump. I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. But this time, as opposed to last time where I totally forgot until the time came to draw the Bouffalon, I actually made a palette beforehand. And if you want to see what that is, you're gonna have to wait until we get to the coloring portion because I'm not gonna pull that up until we have to do that. But I feel like I did pretty good on the palette. Regardless, now that that is out of the way, we actually have to get into doing the thing. Which, if you're wondering why my voice is a little bit lower, a little bit, well, not less energy, but like more low-key, that is because it is late when I'm recording this. Well, it's like midnight while I'm recording this, and I live with other people. So I'm going to try and keep my voice down a little bit more than what I normally do, just out of respect for the other people in my house. I'm sure you'll understand. Y'all always understand. That's how I can trust you. I always do this like slightly downturned look, but that's, I mean, it's a good starting point. And let's see about making this smaller because I always make the head too big. Give me something like that. That'll probably work. Luckily for me, unlike many times where I have done Let's Draw beforehand, I actually have been drawing in the meantime. So I'm not going to have to spend as much time warming up as I would if I didn't, or if I wasn't, rather, drawing in the meantime. Many times I have started a Let's Draw because I haven't drawn in a while, and because of that I basically have to re-warm up for the entire, I want to say, first hour and a half of the recording, and it ends up going a lot slower. But I've actually drawn some stuff during my break, so hopefully it won't be too bad. Honestly, because we're going more of a smaller, like almost flat-chested look, I don't think I even need to like really focus on anything aside from like the diamond shape of the body here. So we might just kind of like shift this around a little. Now, I did do myself a big mistake, and that big mistake was definitely not getting coffee before I started. That was a great idea. I didn't grab a pose reference, so I'm gonna have to eyeball it. Thankfully, one of the benefits of breaking characters up into very basic shapes is you can kind of just eyeball it that way. We want her to be a little plumpy, and by a little I mean quite a bit plumpy, but it's a little plumpy to my current, like my style. So I think we'll probably roll with that and then go schwip. Well, give me something more like that. I have seen a couple more like art tutorials on like TikTok and everything, and I've noticed if I modify my, you know, my 3 triangle strategy for the hips here, and I put like an angle here for the thigh area, that makes it look significantly better. So we're gonna try that with this one. I haven't actually tried that in practice yet. This is all on the same layer, we need to fix that. So what better to do it than on a Let's Draw where, oop, not sure what happened there, where I can share the experience with all of you. Wouldn't that be fun? Now, I'm sure at least some of you may have been curious about what I got up to during the break. The answer is not much, but that was the entire point of my break. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned before, I think in the drifting video, where it was an update video in Need for Speed Carbon, I was just kind of drifting around. I think I mentioned in that I have discovered that I am shockingly a workaholic, which is weird to me because I thought I was just lazy my whole life, but it's actually the opposite. The reason I don't get anything done is because I want to get things done, I don't, and then I feel bad, and then I'm demotivated. So with that revelation in mind, I kept that in mind during my break, just to make sure that, or rather, I kept that in mind during my break in hopes of reminding myself, like, not to worry at all about YouTube while I'm on my break, because that's the reason, like, I can never get over my burnout. So I focused on the other part of my personality being art, and I actually got some things done. I finished up a thing of my spider OC, and I drew 2 things of the siren from Isaac. And if you've been on the Isaac subreddit within the past couple days, then you've probably seen those, which I suppose could be a talking point, but I tried for the first time posting my art on Reddit just to see how, like, it would go. My art got, like, way more attention than I was prepared for, which is cool. It's a cool problem to have, but I was unaware that anyone would care on Reddit, because it's not like hashtag epic Reddit doggo posting, you know? It's not like lowest common denominator meme posting, so I didn't figure Reddit would care about my art, but they did. And those 2 siren posts were actually quite well received on the Isaac subreddit. Maybe it's just the angle, but that thigh looks a little thin, so let's try going like down here with it. What I do kind of want to make legs a little bit longer, like that. Is that looking better? As per usual, we're doing a thigh up because legs scare me. I'm gonna crop that a little bit. Nice and plumpy, love that. I am noticing that the angle with the body is kind of weird, so let's see about maybe shifting this around a little bit, do a little bit of skewing, a little bit of turning, maybe like that. Maybe go up a little bit, but generally that's what we're looking for. Now I need to figure out what I want to do with her hands, which just realized we're probably gonna have to have some extra room here. So actually, you know what, let's just go ahead and crop it so the body's in the middle, so I can just center it and then I don't have to worry about lining it up whenever I need a mirror. So let's see. I did have the thought of her holding a sword might be kind of cool, but I'm not sure if I did myself a favor with this particular setup, if that lends well to her having a sword. I guess I could look up some like sword, like some idle sword poses and see if I can put something together, but I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna really quickly look up some different sword poses and see if I do want to give her some sort of like rapier or something. Okay, there's an idea. I was thinking more of like, you know, an idle, like almost like a guard stance, but I think, yeah, hold on. I'm just gonna keep this up on my second monitor so you can't see it, but what I'm gonna do is just to make sure it's nice and straight because it's a sword.
Not a straight sword though, it's a rapier. It's different. Shut the fuck up. Fuck you, who cares? I hate you.
And then we're gonna do like just very simple like that, just so we have the basic shape of it. You see where I'm going here? Where she's kind of holding it across her body like this. You getting the general idea on what I'm doing with? I think that's a pretty good idea because I didn't want to have a lot of the poses I was actually seeing when I looked up a pose reference for, you know, holding a sword, holding a rapier, etc. because it would cover up a lot of her body. And that's not what the point of this is. This whole thing is supposed to be about, like, you know, me throwing Pokemon and having a level of, like, character design to it, where the design of the character is the focus here. So if I have them covered up, then that kind of defeats the point. But with a rapier, we can get away with a lot more, because rapiers are real thin. So even with the sword crossing over her midsection like that, it won't cover up too much because it's so itty bitty tiny. So I think with the sword here, we're gonna go ahead and do Control-I to invert it, and then duplicate it a couple times so it's nice and bold. But now we have that there, and we can start laying out, you know, where her arms are going to be, which I may have mentioned this a couple times. I like starting with the hands because that gives me a point where I can then try and connect the joints together and then build the arms off of that. So let me hold my pen like I'm holding a sword, which I could do that like, you know, the finger up thing when you're holding a rapier where it's like proper fencing stance, or you got your finger up on the crossguard. That might be kind of fun. I think I'll worry about that when I am actually putting the sword together, and like, you know, it's not just the base. Just out of curiosity, I see what my problem is. Hold on. That looked okay, but I didn't actually do it right because I didn't leave enough room for the other finger. Let's do that, and then we'll do, okay, there we go. Move it down a little bit more, and then fingy, huh? Pointy fingy, index fingy. Where would you go with this perspective? Did I goof myself? I think I may have. That's the great thing about a sketch, huh? The great thing about the base sketch. Who cares? I think the weirdest thing is that her grip's really low. So maybe we'll skip doing the fancy, like, you know, finger up thing just to be like, hey, look at you Hema guys. She's holding the sword properly. Good, I like to do that because I'm a nerd. I think we'll just have it hidden behind the crossguard and do the artist thing instead of hiding the hands because you don't want to bother. I think that's the best idea. So for this, we're just gonna schmove it around a little bit, and then we're gonna trace over that to be a bit more hand-shaped. And to do that, we're gonna start this a little bit lower, and that's going to be where our hands connect. And then do something like that and curve it up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. And from here, we can actually do a little bit more specification, which is a word, trust me. Do that. One's a little bit higher, and we'll just do like that. Let's see how that looks. That looks a little weird, but it is the base sketch, so I don't think I care. Trying to think. I think her hand might be small, which is a problem I have a lot. Oh, let's just make it bigger. That looks better immediately. So I'm gonna put the rapier in its own group real quick, so I can put an erasure mask that I love so much. Haven't done one of those in a while, as far as you know. And I'm going to erase the handle under the hand because you wouldn't be able to see it, and see if that looks weird. The silhouette is fine, it's just the lines that I put don't make a whole lot of sense, which that's not really the point. So that's hand one, and we'll put in hand two before I start actually connecting things together. So let me pull up that the thing on my second monitor again. okay, yeah, I kinda get it, I see what you're picking up, I see what you're putting down. So it would be something like that. Where they're like holding the thing, yeah, I think. Let me see about the angle a little bit more. So with this angle, would it be the pointer finger in the foreground or the pinky finger in the foreground? I think the pinky would be in the foreground. So let's just try putting down a line first, just like the other one, and then, I might have to do what I haven't done in a while and lay out the fingers with lines first. I'm having a hard time visualizing where the fingies would be, actually. So I want the index finger to be along the blade. It's huge, I know, but just like, give me a second. I'm trying to figure this out here. Are you at least visualizing what I want to do? Because I can see it. I'm not sure if it translates. So I think while this looks whack as hell, we're just gonna have that low opacity and we're gonna get the fingies out of the way first. At least the pinky, so I can work off of something, you know? Oh, these freaky monster hands. Hey, see, normally my fingers are just basically, like, triangles with maybe a little bend in them, so trying to articulate joints like this is weird to me. Hey, I think... Hold on. I think that looks way better than what we had before. I think that looks way better. So I think we can actually go off of this to get our base shape in. I'm actually going to merge those and see how they scale with the other hand. They're a little big. Let's just make it slightly smaller. Do it just a little bit, and that should be okay. So now that I actually have fingies here, we can put in the hand. The coffee sustains me. They're more claw-like than I had originally planned, but I kind of like that. I think I'm gonna roll with that. I think legitimately when I go to draw the hands, I think I will have like a fingerless, like, because I like to segment fingers because it makes them drawing easier, in my opinion. They look better when they're segmented off. I think, obviously it's not gonna be this exact shape because this looks whack, but I think this inner part of the palm is going to be, whoops, where are we? That's probably going to be white, and then the fingers are going to be like solid black, and it's going to be like a glove situation, so to speak, because I did want to take its like rose hands and make them into big cuffs. I think that's the best idea when you're trying to anthro Roserade, so they actually have functional hands. So I think that'll work. I'm actually going to dupe this a couple times, so it's around the same boldness as the other hand. Still a little less bold, but that's okay. We're gonna put those in their own group so I can move it around as needed. We're gonna put you here, like that maybe. I might want to put in the thumb first before I really focus on the angle of it. So we're gonna do that now. We want the thumb sort of like in line with the blade, like that. Those are some evil, freaky claws, but I like it. I like it a lot, actually. Now we're going to put our anchor point on the tip of the fingy here, and then whoops, we wanted the whole group, thank you. I was wondering why that looked weird. I think that's pretty good. I think what I want to do is redo the pinky so it's more curled up instead of out like that. So I have the index and middle finger out and then the pinky curled in. I think that might look better. Unfortunately, the fingers are all part of one, so I'm just gonna have to kind of trace over and then erase what I can. It is already in the foreground, so it won't be too hard. And while I desperately struggle how to figure out how to curl a pinky, I suppose this is a good time to say a huge shout out to all of my current patrons. I love you all so much. If you want to support me in the channel, you can do so on Patreon for just $5 a month and get a bunch of cool perks, such as work in progress art, whether it be for thumbnails or just something I'm working on, full resolution art, including for thumbnails. You'll get early access to all of my videos and access to a special channel where I host all of my director's cut and uncut content for your viewing pleasure. Additionally, if you want to support me but you don't want to deal with a monthly subscription, which I totally understand, a lot of my art posts are just available for a one-time purchase as well. One-time purchase, no additional purchases needed, no percent APR, whatever, I don't care. It's funny money jokes. You don't have to pay a subscription, you can just buy some art. If any of that strikes your fancy, make sure to head down to the link in the description and check out my Patreon. Once again, a huge shout out to all of my current patrons. I love you all so much. And now I'm slowly figuring out how to do this. I think I got the general shape down, I just have to do it better, which is a tall ask, I know, but I have struggled with harder. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to erase what fingies would be behind the pinky and the palm, and I'm going to bring them back to opacity and see how that looks. Does it look weird? It looks a little weird. That's the great thing about Let's Draw, baby. A learning experience that everyone gets to watch me suffer through. That's not stressful at all. Hold on. I need to do that thing where I look at OBS on my second monitor because it's less specific. I think that looks good. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just merge this whole bitch. We're going to trace over the whole thing as its own separate thing so I can just have everything nice and neat. We'll put that in its own group. Let's see, is there any overlapping? Yes. So we'll just go ahead and do our pinky first. While I figure this out, I suppose I can bring up another one of my talking points. Something monumental, for me at least, has finally happened in Warframe. And yeah, I'm talking about Warframe. Ooh, it's 2017 all over again. But after, I think, 9 years of waiting and waiting and hoping and waiting and getting really mad on the forums and some more waiting, we are finally going to be getting the original Zephyr Deluxe skin that I wanted far before Harrier existed. It has been so long, man. I am still in shock that it is finally going to be a real thing. We are going to be getting the Zephyr Conquera skin once we reach $100,000 raised for the Quest to Conquer Cancer this year, which is dope and awesome because that means I get the skin I want and also get to donate to charity, which I did. I checked earlier today and the goal is currently at 95k out of 100k, so we just need to raise $5,000 more and then we all get the skin. So hey, if you play Warframe, maybe consider donating a little bit to the Quest to Conquer Cancer, get us that skin, or if you just want to donate to help with cancer research and everything, you can always do that. Oh yeah, that looks so much better. That looks so much better. And because of where the thumb is, we don't really need to mess with it all that much. So we're just gonna go ahead and throw that in. Have it curl up a little bit more. And now that our fingers are there, let's just plug in the hand. Okay, I think we have a hand here. Oh, bibbidi bobbidi. So now we have the good hand. TM, trademark, registered trademark. Let's just rotate it just a little bit. That's basically the same as it was, but it's a little bit different. As you can see, it's a little bit different. And I think that should be good to go. Now with that in mind, we can actually worry about putting our hands in the proper spot for this to be cool and everything. Okay, I do kind of want, obviously this is just, you know, the base and everything, so this isn't too important, but I want to see about maybe doing some more details on the crossguard here instead of just this basic shape. You know, having like something coiling up the blade and everything. So I think with that in mind, I might actually do myself a big favor and give our blade that little bit of width that is to be expected of a rapier. It's going to be still paper thin because it's a rapier and all, but yeah, see, there you go. That's much more what I would expect. So with the lines in, let's go in here, grab our stabilizer just to be safe, and just do whip, just like that. And now we actually have roughly the width I was expecting here. And we can do a little bit of weapons design, which I haven't done in a long time. But I think given Roserade and everything, it would be cool to have like little brambles coming up from the crossguard. I think that would be cool. I'm just trying to figure out how I'd want to do that. You seeing where my brain's at? I think the best idea would be just do that basically. Have it come along the blade. And is this on its own layer? Thank God. Let's duplicate that and then horizontal flip and see, or vertical flip? Yeah, vertical flip. Yeah, and then we can put this here. Hey, did that or did that not just add so much? I think that was a super cool idea. I am gonna see about maybe making this a little bit wider though, which might be a little bit interesting with the fact that the angle that I put it at. Actually, you know what? Because it's a base sketch, I think that's fine. I can worry about the fancy details when I'm actually, you know, doing fancy details in the actual art. Right now, we have that little extra bit of detailing with this spiral going up the blade. And I think that's cool. Actually, while I'm here, because my brain's going for weapons design now, fantasy weapons design, I want to see about maybe giving a little bit of visual interest to the crossguard just as is. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to basically schlep some shapes around and build off of that. Just changing up that shape and segmenting it a little bit made that so much more visually interesting. Now, what if I were to go like this to give it a little bit of depth? Just a little bit. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. I think that is pretty cool. So I'm just going to go into our eraser here, just in case. Oh, wait, no, we want to bring you up. And we're just going to erase the crossguard we had. And since we're playing around with the crossguard, I'm just going to already see about adding some depth to this guy, which I'm going to do myself a big favor. Yeah, okay. And we're going to put her in her own group as well, so I can hard focus on making this cool. I really love weapons design. I haven't done this in so long. This is great. Alright, so let's see. Am I on a new layer? I'm on the crossguard layer, so we'll make another layer. And trying to visualize here. Okay, so this one is going over and then back. So this one would be coming back and then over. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. I really like that. Obviously, the perspective is a little weird because, you know, it's just a base sketch and everything, but just from doing that, that made my soul really happy. We get the idea. Very spirally nonsense. I think that's pretty cool. So with all of that in mind, we can bring her back and see. That's a pretty cool sword. That is a pretty cool sword. Oh, but I just... yeah, this whole thing, it's drawing Pokemon and everything, but I wanna keep adding to the rapier. So what I'm gonna do, just real quick to satisfy my brain, I'm just gonna come in here and add a little bit of like banding, like that. So I'm gonna place down these lines first, like that, and then we're gonna do a little bit of a cross, just to say that these are little sparkly things, and that immediately added so much. Weapons design is so much fun. I'm getting so distracted with just messing with the sword. I'm gonna be here for 2 years unless I actually like say, fuck it, that's good enough. I can do more when I'm actually drawing it. Which, because it's in the foreground, in theory I should work on that first when I actually get to drawing, but see about maybe doing that. But for the time being, she doesn't have arms. She has hands and a body. She needs arms. The stance is different, so it's gonna be a bit of a pain in the ass, but we can eyeball it, it's fine. It's fine, just eyeball it. Let's have the rapier on low opacity so we can still see generally where it is. There we go. So I think, let's put the shoulders first, so we actually have somewhere to connect the elbow. There's our shoulders. Wrist joint would be around here. Wrist joint would be around here. So, if we put through there, that look okay? I think generally yes. Does that look weird? It kind of looks weird. I think if we have this curved ever so slightly inward instead of outward, that should help. And I accidentally erased the other joint. Crap. It was like right here, wasn't it? I don't remember. Is that better? Zoom in a bit, like that much. I think that's generally what we want. I think that's okay. So now is the matter of figuring out the cuffs, because thankfully her arms are covered up, so I won't have to worry about specific arm anatomy. So we want big poofy cuffs. I'm gonna do that. I think I'll start with this one, because this will be the most obvious for me. Like that. Yeah, there we go. That was easy. And I think she will have like pretty like pointy shoulders. Yeah, like that. Hey, you know what? I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, alright. And if we just take the armature away, obviously this is going to look different, but, you know, it's beside the point. I think that's pretty okay. Especially for a baseline of what we, like, the size of the cuffs that we want them to be and everything. I think it's pretty good. Now we'll do the same for the other one, which I just realized this should be on low opacity, like 33%. Now, this angle is interesting to me. I'm not sure specifically how to tackle it. So let's just do something like that, maybe? Yeah, okay. And then we just move this over here, skew it a little. Okay, yeah, that helped a lot. So we'll just have this on low opacity, and then we'll trace over that to get the proper shape of it. Have it more rounded at the bottom. Obviously, this is going to be, you know, adapted on with, like, roses and everything, but I want to just have, like, the basic shape of the cuffs in first, that we can have some sort of anything to build off of. And I think it's ovular, but it needs to be more this way, is gravity and all. And then, I guess, just to see if that looks okay, we'll start by just... yeah, that obviously looks wrong. I'm trying to figure out in my brain why. Maybe the rapier going away will help. Yeah, I think it's too stout and not tall enough is why it looks weird. Which I guess is basically the same thing. I didn't want to delete that. Because, like, this cuff we obviously made much more thin and ovular. So, what if I just literally use the circle tool? Like that. And we're gonna mess with the perspective here. I think messing with the perspective of this oval here was the best idea I probably could have had. Because this perspective is weird. I've never really done a perspective like this before, but I think we are making progress. Then we're just going to move this up a little bit, maybe that much. Then we're going to build off of that with our actual sleevey portion. I think that's what we wanted, baby. I say that far too much, and I'm aware of the fallacy of my brain. But right now, I'm feeling good, and I'm not gonna let that get to me. Instead, I'm just going to have you come down like this, neck down. Maybe I should have done shoulder first, but whatevs. And that's what I thought. This is not thick enough. Let's try making this more of like one big line. So let's just take this nice and slow and bring our sword back. Oh, I think this is a little tall, but in general, I think we're cooking with gas here. I think we got something good cooking. Just make it ever so slightly shorter. Yes, 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 yes. Good, awesome, dope, and cool. So all I'm gonna do now is I'm going to tweak this a little bit to be slightly more in line with her other arm. Let's actually have like this and then come out like that, maybe? So it's more off of the elbow, or it's like extra thickness from the sleeve itself and not her arm. I think that's a generally good idea, but I'm just adding too much to it. I'm gonna go like right here. I think maybe yes. Thankfully, that's going to be covered up a lot by the sword, so I think in general, we have something cool brewing here, boys. I do want to move her head around a little bit. If we get slightly different, which one do I like more? That's more neutral than this. I think we're gonna go with this just to give that little bit of extra room for like the neck accessory that Roserade has. But I think in general, this right here is some nice building blocks. This is some real nice building blocks. I'm loving this so far. Like, look at this. Oh, I think this might turn out to be one of the best one, like the best one I've done so far. This has a lot of potential. Oh, I hope I don't fuck it up. What I'm gonna do real quick is something I enjoy doing when there's overlapping in my base. And I'm going to very quickly fill our rapier with an erasure mask on low opacity, so we can still see what's behind it, but know for sure that our rapier is in the foreground. There we go. And now we're just gonna fill that in, which honestly, that kind of goes hard as fuck. Just at, like, as is, that kind of fucks, but that's not what we're going for. So now all of her body parts are being erased as if the sword was actually covering it up. So we're just gonna set that to maybe 75% opacity. Maybe, no, maybe not. Let's do 66. And I think we have our base here.
Only took an hour and a half.
So now that that is out of the way, and we have our base, we can actually get to designing the character. Which means I get to start by drawing eyes. Ooh, oh boy. Which, while I figure out the eyes situation, I did want to talk a little bit more about the big thing when it comes to being an artist online, being commissions. I have very, very slowly been easing myself into the concept of doing commissions. Very, very slowly. My main problem is that they're incredibly intimidating because I've never done them before. And I may have mentioned this in the past, but I have a general idea of what I want to charge for, just a typical, art thing where it's like, thigh up, bust commission, whatever. I have an idea of what I would charge for that, but I'm not sure if I am either underselling or overselling myself yet. And that's another big factor of me not quite doing commissions just yet. And as a general point of just, conversation, I was kind of considering maybe doing like free character art for, just random people on TikTok, or just, this other sort of thing where I draw people art for free, both to get my name out there and to get a general idea of what it's like to be commissioned. But once again, it's very intimidating, and I have not really committed to doing anything of the sort just yet. So I suppose this is a thing for any of you who have been watching for a while and have seen me do art and have paid great attention to my art at large. My question to you is, what would you say is your range for what you would be comfortable paying for a full, colored piece with, shading and stuff? Like, what price range would you be comfortable and satisfied with you getting, art from me? I hope I elucidated that well, because as you can imagine, I'm pretty out of the loop when it comes to commentary and talking while I'm drawing. But I want to try and get a ballpark of what I could realistically charge and not feel like I'm gypping people, Because YouTube isn't exactly paying me a whole lot, so it'd be nice to actually have something I can do to get some money and actually do something, because ain't no one in my town hiring. It's fucking awesome. But you didn't come here to talk about my my employment situation. You came here to watch me draw a Pokemon lady, and I'm trying to currently figure out how I want to do eyes. I think, because I had in mind my Terrabarina OC, Sophie. I think the way I did her eyes is really cute, and I kind of wanted to do that again, but I can't remember how specifically I did it. So I might pull her up just for a second. Hello, Sophie. Long time no see. I haven't drawn you in a while because your design is a little bit too complex, but you're really, really cute. Ah, okay. Gotcha. So the bottom lash is kind of like a boat shape. Yeah, let's try that. Oh, me pulling up my Tarabarina OC being Tarantris and Lollabarina. That did bring something to mind. I have not played, like, basically any of Monster Hunter Wilds since it basically came out, so I'm curious for any of you who might still be playing it, which, from what I've heard, is not many people. What's the current state of Monster Hunter Wilds like for you, huh? Are you still enjoying it? Right now, I'm pretty much just waiting for the DLC to drop, because it did not have a whole lot to offer for me. So I'm sort of just waiting for something to happen. Though, just to be entirely fair, I didn't really like Monster Hunter Wilds going into it. It was really not a game I enjoyed, so my opinion is generally more negative than I believe the wide populace opinion to be. However, with me being a quote-unquote Monster Hunter Wilds hater, which is going pretty far, but, you know, just for funsies, it is kind of funny and kind of cathartic in a way to see the game not doing so great at the moment, because I went in thinking that this game was not going to be as good as World. It's probably not even going to be as good as Rise. So now that the game is seeming to struggle a little bit, I feel a little bit justified in that, and I wasn't just hating for the sake of hating the new thing. I, of course, love Monster Hunter and want to see it succeed. However, in its current state, Monster Hunter Wilds has really nothing to offer for me. So that's why I'm waiting for the DLC. I thought about reinstalling just so I could fight Lagiacrus and everything, but I ended up skipping it. I'm just gonna wait for the DLC expansion when there's actually shit to do. Yeah, that's actually pretty much what I'm going for. I think all I'm gonna do is just make it a little bit more gradual so she has a bit of more of an almond-shaped eye. I think that might work. Alright, so now we're just going to duplicate that. We're going to flip it, and then we're going to line this up. Look decent. I think that looks relatively okay. So now we're going to put those into their own group, just so we can get to them nice and easy. Ooh, though something did just occur to me. We actually don't have a a reference for the actual Roserade, so let me get that real quick. Roserade _real. Let's take a look at your eyes. So they're not like Absol or various other Pokemon eyes where they have the white pupil. They're just eyes. Wakes for me. But of course, I did also forget they canonically have eyeshadow. So we're gonna be doing that too real quick. I'm gonna do something that I have started doing where if I want a specific shape but still need some wiggle room, I bring my stabilizer up to 500 and then do that. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna dupe these real quick so they are separate from each other. Bring you up, merge you down, make these go away, and then I'm just gonna dupe this and then hover it over the other one as such, just to save myself the effort, you know? And I have the eyes without the eyeshadow anyway if I ever need them. What's the difference like between? Basically the same. Cool.
Whoops, I made the eyes go away. Come back.
Alright, so we'll have our eyeshadow included eyes on top, and then we can see about doing the actual location of the eyes themselves, the iris and such. Oh, I'm still on 500. We want 100. There we go. There's some eyes. There's some cute eyes. That's what I was waiting for. Which I can't believe that I haven't mentioned this in a Wheel of Fortune yet, but Legend ZA is coming out very, very soon. In fact, let me think about some logistics here. It is by the time you see this, Legend ZA will actually be out, unless, of course, you subscribe to Patreon for early access, which comes, I just remembered that I actually need to enter my my product code so I can have Legend ZA. Didn't think that through. I will have to do that after I'm done recording. Why can't I get this other eye to look right? I'm doing something wrong, and I know I am, but I can't pinpoint as to what. Actually, maybe it's not that eye. Maybe it's the other eye that looks weird. Yeah, we'll do right eye first. And I'm actually going to do something that I totally forgot to do, and is probably a big reason why I'm fucking up, and I need to select the eye area so I can get the shape right. But yeah, as I mentioned, Legend ZA is going to be out by the time you see this Wheel of Fortune video. I have high hopes for the game. I think it's going to be real cool. I have been trying my absolute damnedest to avoid spoilers, and God help me, the internet makes that impossible. But there's still a good portion of the game that I have heard about but don't know the details on. So really, when you like Pokemon, that's about as much as you can ask for when it comes to avoiding spoilers, because everyone is going to try their damnedest to make sure you know everything about the new game, because they're boring and they don't like anything new. I think that should be work for the eye. That was a sentence. It's always really funny to me going, several, having a good chain going. A good chain going in terms of uploading videos where I keep up the momentum and everything, and then taking a break and coming back and seeing how much worse I am at commentary because I'm out of practice. It's really funny to me. It might be kind of annoying to you. I hope it isn't too annoying, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. When your biggest selling point for your content is your voice, and you start getting out of practice with it, and your voice starts sounding weird, stupid, and you start making mistakes, it's just natural that you're going to be annoying some people with it. But is that better? Why am I struggling so much with eyes? They're like my favorite part. Shape of the iris first, and then do the pupil. Okay, yeah, now I think, ooh, that was on that layer, huh? Cool. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. But that's okay, because I did notice that it's just the right eye now. It actually is the right eye that looks weird. So if we just very quickly do a little bit of fixie, then it won't be a problem. Coyote, that's what they call me. They don't. Let's try flipping it and doing it from this angle, maybe. While I very much struggle to figure this out, I suppose I can actually ask what I wanted to ask when it comes to Legend ZA, and that is, how many of you are actually looking forward to Legend ZA? Because I definitely am. Regardless of whatever stupid controversies people may be coming up with this time, I'm still super pumped for it. I love Pokemon and everything. I'll play whatever. Does that mean I am immune to understanding the concept of a bad game and a game that sucks ass? No, because I played Gen 5 and I fucking hated it. For those of us who are around for the release of Gen 5, do you remember when everyone is talking about how Gen 5 fucking sucks and is the worst Pokemon? Yeah, it's really cool to me to figure out that years later, a lot of those people were just posers and pretending to hate the new thing, while it's cool to hate the new thing, and they didn't actually hate Gen 5 for being some of the weakest games in the series. I feel like it's still weird. Why does it still feel weird? Okay, now I think it's this eye that's weird. So let's see if we can fix that. But yeah, like I mentioned, I'm still excited for ZA and everything. And I am not, that is not because I'm just a Nintendo shill. I'm not. I constantly shit on Nintendo and will continue to do so. But I like Pokemon. So whenever there's a new Pokemon game coming out, I'm gonna be excited for it. However, if it's a game like Gen 5 or BDSP, I'm not one of the people that will just blindly love whatever Game Freak shits out for us. If a game is bad, I will call it bad. And that is what BDSP was. I think this is the most I have struggled drawing eyes in a very long time. I don't know what's up with my brain. I guess I haven't actually drawn eyes in a little bit, because the most recent thing I drew was Siren, and she doesn't have irises. Her eyes are just white. So maybe that's why I'm out of practice. Is this on this? I did it again, didn't I? Oh, geez. Well, on the bright side, I know why it looks weird now, because I was making her look too far and too far to her left and too far up. Is that it? Is that it? Did I do it? Okay, I think I did it. God, that was so frustrating. All right, I'm gonna do myself a big favor, and before I commit to that's an empty layer, why do I have this? Oh, that's the layer I was supposed to do the irises on. Whoops. Well, now it's the eyebrow layer. I'm gonna do myself a big favor, and we're just going to get some eyebrows in here real quick. Maybe something like that, maybe? Yeah, it's looking kind of posh and, high society. Better than you, holier than thou, etc. That'll work for now. I can always come back and mess the eyebrows, especially because I remember to put them on the right layer, a separate layer. Yeah, cool. And now for the interesting thing of figuring out the mask. That is going to be interesting. Thankfully, it's not too particularly complex a mask. It's just kind of a banana shape. However, I have almost I have no experience in drawing masks, so this will be interesting. I think we're gonna have to take the base down a little bit more so I can go more based off of the location of her eyes than the actual head itself. And I'll make these like 50% opacity as well. I think I'll start off by doing just that. Well, no, I want them to be lower. I want to like graze over her eyes. Actually, there's an idea. Let's have it angled down like that and touch the apex arch of her eyelid, like that. And then I think from there, I'll do the same like that. That helped. that was a good idea. My only issue was because of the angle we're at, we need the middle to go more over that way. Like right here. Might be a little bit too far even. Let's go right here. Then we come over here. Do the same up to the apex of the arch of her eyelid, like that. And then we will have you here. I think we're getting somewhere. I do like the idea of having it be like sort of angular. So maybe with that in mind, we'll just literally have you there as a center line. And then we can just do something along these lines for the actual mask itself. Yeah, I think we're going in the right direction. And let's just erase our center line real quick just to see if this is what we want to do. Where's real Roserade? Ah, I see. Yeah, I didn't... It's more of a banana shape, and I have like this like bean shape almost here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take you and we're going to curve you up a little bit more. See, I think the reason this is looking weird and stupid is because I'm trying to stick true to the design when it comes to the eyes, but the way, just by nature of how I draw, the eyes are much bigger than they are in the actual design. So I think maybe if I just stop worrying too much about being very specific on where it goes, that might help me a little bit. But I am going to commit with this real quick just to see if I like it. So we're just going to put our center line really bold here. And then out of curiosity, what if I literally just copied that? But let's try that. Copy it, mirror horizontal. Obviously this isn't going to look too good, but I want to see if this is generally what I want to do. Let's just have that general shape there. And we'll use that as a guide for trying the more stylized shape that I was talking about. I think that's okay. Obviously it looks stupid right now, but I think just for the shape, just to make it so I stop losing my mind over here, we're gonna have that there. And then I'm gonna see about putting her mouth in, which I think another big point here is, what if we just raised it up? Just the silhouette of that looks better. Okay, so we'll just have that there. And then I'll see about putting in a mouth real quick, because Roserade does have a mouth. It's tiny, but it's there. So let's do like something smug like that, yeah. Let's just worry about the mouth first, and then we'll bring the mask back. Is that a good face? I think that's a pretty good face. All right, and now, of course, we have to experiment with lipstick. And I don't think if I do give her lipstick, it's gonna be black, but I am just going to fill this in real quick to get an idea. Yes, that is going to be a yes from me. All right, so we'll just have the lip here, and then we will fill that in with the color that we want when we're actually coloring. And now from here, we can actually do the mask part for realsies this time. So let's start here, and then just trace the outline of what we've got so far. And the corners are rounded, so we'll probably do that next, but we're just gonna keep you there. So now we can actually worry about rounding it off. As such. How many times do you think I say as such in these videos? Because it's a lot. And let's see how that looks. Okay, yeah. I think what I'm gonna do, all I'm gonna do, is I'm going to erase the bottom and just scooch it over a little bit, like that, and then make it slightly thinner. And then I'm going to basically just eyeball where I want the curve to be. And I think that was a fairly good idea, because I have all the facial features already lined up. So I don't necessarily need the center line, but it would help. Let's bring the base back, and I think that's pretty good. Let's just erase some of the mask lines that are overlapping with the eyelids, because the eyes will go on top of everything, because that's just my style. And I think we have the makings of a pretty fun character here. Look at her face. Isn't that fun? I think it's pretty fun. And now comes the issue of her hair. Thankfully, Roserade's hair isn't as petally as I thought it was. It's just kind of hair that vaguely resembles a rose's petals, if you will. And I do notice a little bit of like hair fangs bang situation around the mask. And I think that'll be a good starting point. So let's start with that and see where we want to go from there. What if we just did some random shapes until something jumps out at me? Oh, actually, that's pretty okay. Let's actually do something like that. I think that's working so far. This is kind of fun. It's weird, it's different, it's not how I normally do hair, but it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying this. Hold on. Let's just do like that. I kind of like that. I don't normally do short hair, but I mean, Roserade has short hair. Maybe not specifically that, but I think that's a great starting point. But let's try moving this down a little and see if I like it more. It looks kind of stupid, but I think it's just because she doesn't have a chin. So let's take a pause for a moment. The hair fangs on that side would be covered up anyway. So let's see about doing a little bit of the face. That's pretty cute. That is pretty cute. The shape is a little weird, but generally that's what I wanted. Because I like plump, pronounced cheekbones. It's a little bit of a weird shape. I wouldn't say it's too weird though. I think it's just weird because I normally don't draw people faces. Maybe the mask isn't quite long enough on the other side. Maybe that's the problem. We take the base away and just kind of stretch out the mask a little and see if it jumps out at me as like, I'm gonna squint my eyes. Oh yeah, the mask isn't long enough. We would want it to be like right here-ish, I think. Which, I don't think we even need to like erase or like redraw at all. We just do a little bit of touching up right here and then we're good. And then I think I will have the hair like coming over the mask. Interesting. Let's try erasing the hair. Does that look better or worse? I think generally it just doesn't look good. Maybe if I just bring it in line with the hair. I think that's basically what I had it as before. I'll probably just end up redrawing the hair. Because I just kind of threw that together to like give us a general idea of what her hair is going to look like. But for the time being, since her neck and chin area is kind of good, we're just going to really quickly go to our hair layer again, wherever it is, and we're going to put in the other like hair fangs. I think that's super cute. I like it a whole lot. However, we got to change up that shape a little bit. So we're going to keep this, but we're going to have it curve in a lot more pronouncedly. A lot more pronounced. Significantly better, they're just not low enough. Which, thankfully, now that these are actually on a separate fucking layer, we can just do that. And then move them in a little bit. Oh, I'm really liking this so far. That's super cute. I am really quickly going to go over her eyebrows just a little bit to make them a bit more bold, because they're kind of getting lost in the sauce with the line of her mask and everything. Much more pronounced eyebrows. Cool. I'm curious, base, does that look weird? Not really. I'm going to really quickly just make a separate layer because I goofed up here a little bit. I wanted her hair fangs to be on a separate layer, but I fucked up and I didn't do that. So now I can be really specific on how I want her like actual hair part to be, which honestly I'll just have her both hair fangs on the same layer, just for convenience purposes. Let's look at actual Roserade's hair just to see. Yeah, so it's like a really curvy thing there. Yeah, let's not do that. I liked my stylized version here better. Did the bangs help? I think the bangs helped a little bit. I think if we have the mask sort of like disappear behind her hair right there, so the inner part here is more her bangs, her hairline, that cover up the mask a little. Just for a little bit of overhang. Does that look strange without the base? or without the base? I'm not sure. I think the weird thing might be the bottom of the mask. Let's mess with that real quick. Okay, that's not far enough. But bring the base back. Where's her nose at? There. Okay, yeah, so we want a little bit of overshoot here. I feel like the point still isn't far enough. I think that's better. I think the only thing I need to change is have this come down a little more. I feel like something is still a little bit wrong about that, but I think that's okay for the time being. So what I'm gonna do is just focus on the hair. Actually, here's an idea. We're gonna merge these real quick. That was the chin, yeah? Okay. Merge these. I'm going to very quickly snip this off because I want to try giving her a ponytail. I think the ponytail is the way to go here. I think that fits pretty good. And also, I'm just not good at drawing short hair. I wasn't sure what to do with the back of her hair when there isn't much to work with. Even if I got the front okay, it was the back that I had a problem with. So, with that in mind, let's roll with the ponytail. So I'm gonna very quickly see about adding some fluff detailing to the ponytail. Okay, I think we have our ponytail there. So unless I'm mistaken, I think that should be her facial region, which is cool. Thankfully, we don't even need to find an excuse to give her a choker or a necklace or anything, because she already has one. So I think I'll do myself a grand old favor, and I'll put this all in head so I can make it go away and mess with opacity as need be, and we can start messing with her neck and things. Which, once again, I'll apologize for the lack of commentary in this episode, but A, I'm out of practice, B, hey, you get some time-lapsey stuff, so if you like that, cool. I am noticing the collar necklace situation here is much more angular, like it angles to a tip, so it's not just a choker, but I think we will go with that. So we'll have it the tip like right here. The neck frills meet here and then overlap over a collar. As such, there we go, I said it again. I make sure to add that to the counter. And now the question is, can I cheat? That's the most important question of all. Can I cheat and just mirror this bitch? I would say kind of. A little bit. Let's do that, maybe. Then we'll quickly run over the lines to make it more bold. And I will have it cover up here a little bit with the collar. Bolden up the lines a little. Go to this one, and we'll erase this little bit of the collar that will be covered up anyway. Then full opacity, please. Something like that. Bring our head back. And I think what I'm gonna do very, very quickly is I'm gonna put these in their own group, duplicate each of them, and make it white, so I can see it better. Then I can use that, decide whether or not I want them to be in the foreground of her hair or the background, which I think this one probably be background. So we'll start with that since we're already in this group. Grab an eraser mask and start doing that. think the issue is not that. I think the issue is that me cheating is not possible here. So we're just gonna have her neck there. Regulate these, and then we're gonna bring her hair fangs back. Now I'm trying to think of how to do the other side. Let's take a look at you. You're looking more directly on, which doesn't really help me here. And you can't even see the other side for this one. Good. I'm just going to have to figure it out. Hey. Just like that, maybe? Yeah, actually. Hold on. If we just like... Alright, I figured it out. That was easy. Well, now that the problem part is out of the way, let's see about fixing up our necklace here, because I feel like I goofed it a little trying to figure that out. We want this to curve more like this, and then we do that. Yes, that's what we want. Round it off in places, make it a little bit more bold. Ba-boomba. Now we are officially cooking with gas. So I think the next part we will work on, and this will be body. Now, we gotta figure out basically this. Where it's like a leotard. So I'm just gonna send it and see what happens. Fuck it. Why not? And then erase this so she's got her hips open. Full on, very, very high leotard. Not much coverage there, but hey, that's what we like to see, huh? Besides, this is Wheel of Fortune. This isn't. If you want practical clothing, go somewhere else. And now let's see, is there? Oh, there is segmenting on the leggy. So I may do something about that. But I think before we continue, I might do a little bit of detailing on her leotard here. And honestly, I kind of want to make this go down a little bit lower. Seems like a little bit too high. Keep coming back to this, but start here and then we curve more suddenly. Then meet in relatively the same spot. Around there. This should be marginally better. I do like that better. I like that a lot better. I think what I'll do is just, I kind of want to smooth that out a little bit. That's less of a curve. I like this better. I like that a lot better. I think I just need to make this curve less steep. I like that so much better. Hell yeah. And now, just out of curiosity, I want to have this, like, center line coming down. I need this sword to go away for a second. Yeah, let's make the sword go away. And honestly, make the base go away. And now, out of curiosity, let's put some buttons. Do I like that? Nah, not really. We'll just have just the center line. Fuck it. Bear with me here for a second. You think better? I think better. I think way better. Well, we'll rename that to torso so we can have like the legs be a separate swell. And then onto legs and see what we want to do here. Because the legs are segmented here as well, I kind of want to give her like pseudo like thigh boots with, you know, the indicator from the base here, just to make it a little bit more, you know, artist liberty, you know, having fun with character design and not just throw Roserade. I've already taken a couple liberties, but I want to take some more. It's fun. So what we're going to do is we're literally going to trace our baseline there. We're going to round off a couple corners. Then we're going to just have the boot here, like that, and then that come down like that, so it's not completely flush, so it looks like she's wearing something. I think that was a grand ol' idea. And I'm actually gonna go a step further and have more of those like crease lines. Oh, what if they were kind of like, you know, leaves? I probably won't end up doing this, but I just want to see. That looks stupid. That looks stupid. Okay, yeah. So we'll just stick with the line here. We want to see about maybe adding some creases though. Nah, I just like the one line. All right, now let's do the same for the other leg. All right, base go away. How are we looking? I would say looking very good. I am very much enjoying this character. This always happened with Let's Draw or with Wheel of Fortune. I feel very sketched out. It's because it's really daunting at the very beginning trying to throw a Pokemon. with very little reference for it. Once I get the ball rolling and I start figuring out what I want to do with the character, I start really loving it, and it's always a lot of fun because we have like a coat to put on her now. I think we need to go back up onto her torso and do that. So it looks like this person flat out skipped like the coat part of it and just made it a leotard with these tails here, but that's not what we're going to be doing here. I want to actually make it sort of like a coat. So we're going to make the torso lower opacity, and probably the same with the legs, so I can draw the coat on top of it. I've done it once before, draw a coat, I mean, but it's still pretty, it's not something I'm super well versed on. So I'm just gonna start with something like super simple, like that. I'm sort of just going off of memory of when I had to draw a jacket for Sybil, because that was the only time I've really drawn like a cropped jacket like this before. But I think generally we're doing an okay job at it. Let's have this go out a bit farther and then have it curve in a little bit. And because of this, we can actually use an erasure mask, which is always helpful. Erase all that nonsense. We need it. And now that we have our jacket relatively in, we're gonna go, oop, hold on, we need our stabilizer back. Oh no, you. There we go. And we're gonna trace over the center here, get it nice and bold. And I think I will have buttons on the coat itself, just to denote it as like a separate piece of clothing, you know? I think I know what my issue with this is, and because of that, I know how to fix it. This needs to come down sooner, I think. Go out and then in. Now let's grab our erasure mask again and just, whoops. Oh, it's locked. Whoops. There we go. Erase that, bring opacity up, and see how we like this. Maybe the issue was opposite of what I wanted. Maybe I wanted to go out farther. Let's try that. I think yes. That'll work. So I think I'm gonna leave that be for the time being, and I'm gonna focus on probably doing her shoulders next, which I want to experiment a little, and I want to try having little sleeveys from her jacket. Yeah, where she's got like shoulder pads as well. Picking up what I'm putting down, you seeing what I'm trying to do here? I think I do like the shoulder sleeves. Or the shoulder sleeves. Actually, you know what? Yeah, sure. Shoulder sleeves. I think I do like those. So I'm gonna very quickly go to our erasure mask and erase the ponytail where it's covered up by the shoulder. We'll roll with this and see how I like it going forward. I think that fits pretty well. I like that a lot. So with that in mind, let's make our arms layer next. It did just occur to me that once I'm done with her, I will also have to draw a sword. But that's beside the point. Weapons are much easier to draw because there's a lot less going on. At least if you want to make something practical. But before we do anything, we need to sort out the cuffs, which is what I've been dreading. I think we'll start just by setting up some circles here. Let's make the head go away because there's no point. I think that's a good base start, like a base level of what we're looking for. And I think what I'm gonna do is probably shig. Okay, let's think about this logically here. I think this will be the most like in the foreground of the flowers. And I'm gonna start just by like doing this. Yeah, that's basically what I did for my Tara Barina, Sophie, which I just realized she's still here. So let's say hi. Hi, Sophie. Good to see you. Hello. That's basically what I did for Sophie, but this isn't Sophie, and those aren't tulips, they're roses. So let's try, cause I saw Nerdy Reindeer here just kind of did like A's and circles for the roses. So let's see about that. No, that is very deliberate. Okay, let's do this instead. I knew this was going to be a problem. Let's try a rounded triangle in the center, and then see if there's something we can do based off of that. Kind of. I feel like an X. The X kind of worked. I think if I just do that but bigger, that should work fine. So we'll do our rounded triangle. Then from the corners, we do an X, and then we have some rounded things off of the points. I think I'm making good progress here. I just need to get the perspective right. So now we have the outline, and I think that's already looking better. It does kind of look like she took out someone's lower intestine and put it around her wrist, but that's beside the point. Don't worry about it. Now we just need to figure out how we want to do the flowers. Oh my god, wait, hold on. Did I discover it? I think I discovered it. Hold on. I was just throwing shit around. And then we do the A. No, the X. Oh, okay, no, maybe the A. Maybe the A. Oh! Hold on. Zigzags. I think that worked. Oh! I think that worked. I need to stop doing that or else I'm gonna make my dogs bark. So yeah, just do some fucking concentric lines and then fucking figure it out, stupid. You're overcomplicating things again. You're so good at that. You're so good at overcomplicating things. Like, that's not even that hard. Hell yeah, I have found a life hack. I didn't even need to look up reference, I just figured it out. Yes! So now seeing how I've discovered how I want to do this, we do want them to connect on the offside here. Oh man, it is good that I only do sketches for Wheel of Fortune, because I would not be able to even comprehend the first part of shading all of these flowers. How did I do that? I'm still flabbergasted that I just kind of figured it out totally randomly without looking up anything. Hey, that was dummy easy. Cool. Alright, well with that in mind now, we have a hand to draw, which these will go away for a little bit. And thankfully, I am going to segment off the hand anyway, so I won't have to worry about being too specific about the anatomy of the fingies, because breaking it up makes it significantly easier to mask weird-looking hands. And I'm pretty sure this is going to be covered up by the flowers, but just to be safe, I will draw like the palm here. Alright, and now we can do all this simpleness with an erasure mask. And we just fill in you here, careful not to erase too much of the big one, and then do another erasure mask here. And I think just to add a little bit of like illusion of depth here, we're just gonna do like something like that. Maybe not. We'll just have it be dark. We'll just have it be dark on the inside. Wow, those roses look really good with the fact that they were like not at all difficult to draw. I'm very chuffed about that. I'm very happy with that. Like, holy shit with this character. Like, holy shit. Like, I feel like I'm really cooking with it. Go figure. Me doing a series that entirely revolves around character design is making me better at character design. Wow, it's fucking crazy, isn't it? Oh, actually, because of the angle we've got here, the angle of the dangle, if you will, we need to have a little bit of an arm. Right now, her hand isn't attached to anything. What if I just do like that? Then where's her hand? Here. Yeah, there we go. Problem fixed. So, is this all in one? No. So we're gonna put it all in one, because that is her left arm, right? Yeah. L, arm, larm, then make one for her arm, and now we get to do some more of those roses. Hot diggity duggy. You know, considering how daunting they were when I was first trying to figure it out, these flowers are a lot of fun to draw. Really, really easy too. So easy, in fact. I would go as far to say that even if you're not an artist, you would probably be able to do this. You've been watching me make these roses this whole time. Go give it a try. Open MS Paint or something and just kind of like do a circle and then do a bunch of lines on the inside. Give it a go. See how fun it is. See how satisfying it is. I think aside from the coattails, this should be our Roserade, which, oh my god, look at her, she's amazing and I love her. Absolutely delightful. So now, before we get to our sword, let's just go behind everything and make her coattails, which I forgot to actually put in a group before I renamed it. So, shut up. They like curl up at the top. Let's just do that, fuck it. Can I cheat? That's always the question. Can I cheat? We're gonna find out. Oh, we most certainly can. Awesome. Man, I love cheating with my art. It's so convenient. Here, let's just do like this line maybe. A little line right there to say that there's like actually something going back there. Well, actually, there might actually not be enough room. I said the wrong one. There might actually not be enough room back there to imply where the code is going. I think that's probably the best we're gonna get for that. This is probably good. Although I did just literally this exact moment have an idea to give her a little accessory on her ponytail. So let's head back up there real quick. This looks kind of stupid so far, and by kind of I mean exceptionally stupid. But I just wanted to get an idea. You see what I'm doing here? Let's go less tiara, more just crown. And now we just grab our ponytail and erase the stuff that is obscured by the crown. Okay, I think with the tiara and everything, I think that is our Roserade. So now we just have to do her sword. Thankfully, we already have a good idea for what we want to do with the sword. And I think our best course of action is probably to start with the crossguard. So that's what I'm gonna do, which I just realized I am not on the right point. I've done this entire sketch on a 5-point pencil brush, but that's okay. Even though it's a little under twice the size I normally do, that's fine. Whatever, who cares? I made my lines really bold anyway. We'll just roll with it. I'm not moderately to severely bent about that at all. We're gonna start with our crossguard because we already generally have the idea of what we want to do with it. And I think I actually will change it up just a little bit and have this top part here cut off and not the big part under it. And have it come back here like that, go up, which I'm gonna refine that a little bit. Everyone knows having pointy bits pointing back towards you whilst holding a weapon is a really good and a really smart idea. And then we have this one curl in for the depth. Yeah, I think that'll work for the crossguard because there's gonna be a lot of hand in the way, so I'm not gonna bother like being like super ornate about it, which I know it's a rapier. They're mostly a fashion statement, but this thing's already dope as hell and I don't care. We're just going to do that little bit of banding that I wanted to do. Gonna be slightly different from the original sketch, only slightly though. We're gonna have it curl in here and go along with it. And then I'll do like the fancy little things that I put there as part of the actual like when I'm coloring. But I will put a really thin center line here just to have a little bit of division, break it up a little bit so it's not one solid thing. I'm gonna keep my brush strokes really light, not make it too bold. And now I think, do I want to do the blade next or the coils? I think the coils is probably the best idea, like the vines. So this one's going in front. So we'll start with this one. Over, under, over. That's pretty cool. Like that's pretty fucking cool, right? But I do want to make it cooler because I want to add thorns to it. So I'm gonna do that real quick, and then we'll start. And then we'll put in the blade and everything. And yes, I'm aware I'm basically giving her the Rathian sword and shield sword. So it's fine. Don't worry about it. Actually, that's a good idea. let's put the base of the thorn first. Something about rapiers and rose vines. They just go together. Probably because they're both pokey. Pokemon? Oh, it all comes full circle. And now for the grand reveal. Oh, that is a cool looking crossguard. I like that a whole lot. God, I miss designing weapons. It's so much fun. Okay, so now I need to bring the base back and bring Roserade back. A little bit of a handle, which I am going to make a little bit more interesting just by doing something really simple. You can have a little bit of a polygonal tip here. That have any functional use? Probably not, but it makes it less just a square, just to give it that little bit of visual interest. Alright, Roserade, thank you very much. And now it's just the very simple thing of putting the blade in, which I am going to be doing with the straight edge tool, because it's easy. And then we're just going to duplicate that and move it up. And then we connect the tip together, which let's make it a little bit longer. And look at that cool sword! Look at this cool sword. It's a cool sword. Now the blade is all one piece. Make all that nonsense go away. Same with the base, because we don't need it anymore. We have the sword. And we're just going to... Wait, I'm on a different layer. We're going to have a little itty-bitty bevel. Krakatoa. There's a sword, everyone. Do you like it? Because I like it. Also, do you think it was cool that I used sword terms and talked about the bevel? Yeah, I know sword things. You think I could put together a cool rapier like this and not know what a bevel is? Fuck you. Alright, well anyway, cool sword. And now we just need to have an erasure mask so the parts of the blade that are going under a coil can be gone and not there. Erase, 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 erase. And that goes under. This goes over, goes under, over, under, over. Good. And then we want to go here. This erasure mask, I think. Yeah, that erasure mask. And now we do the same for the coils that are going over it. Or under it, I mean. The exact opposite. Which I am going to do myself a favor. And I'm going to create separate erasure masks so I can just kind of scribble around here. That goes over. That goes under. Then where's the top one? Here it is. And we're going to do its own erasure mask. Over, under, over. Look at this cool-ass sword that I made. I know I made like a thick Roserade and everything, but look at this cool-ass sword I made. I have other interests aside from titties. Alright, so now the absolute moment of truth. Bring this to low opacity, bring Roserade back, and now... Actually, we don't even need to do that, because the entire sword is in front of her anyway. Going to do an erasure mask to erase all of the stuff that is behind the sword. Let's set this to normal, actually, while I do this, just so I can see where I'm working. You know, I could save myself a lot of time just doing a polygonal select, actually. So we're gonna do that instead. God, can you imagine if I decided to do this all by hand? Nah. No. Polygonal select tool was a much better idea. Alright, cool black sword, but not really, because erasure mask. Put that in Roserade. Ooh, Roserade, sword. I forgot to mess with the coattails. Hold on. Oh my god. Wow. I am so pumped about this character. Look at her. Oh my god. I am noticing her mask is like fucky, as it has been this entire time. So I'm probably gonna mess with that a little bit before I get to coloring, but like, oh my god, this is so sick. So before I do literally anything else, which is to say coloring, we need to fix the mask a little bit, which ideally shouldn't be too hard now that she has an entire person to her person. It's a shame this isn't just like an OC that I thought of and, you know, has an established model sheet, because I personally think she looks way better without the mask, but since this is a Roserade, she kind of needs to have the mask. It's part of her design. Let's try putting that center line that I keep thinking about. I think that does help. There we go. I think that's what I wanted. And honestly, I think before I even go further, I want to get this mask right, because like everything else about her is awesome. So if her mask is like stupid, then it's gonna stick out like a sore thumb. So now with that center line there, which again, that just looks better without the mask. God, that's frustrating. We're gonna use that as an actual like proper guideline. Let's just touch up that line a little bit. And I think that is our Roserade and her cool ass rose sword. Like, holy shit. I'm so pumped about this. And now that this is done, I might actually, I'm gonna really quickly run over like a lot of her lines to make them a little bit more bold. And since I've been largely quiet this time, hey, how about I talk about some things? I can't remember if I've talked about specifically, you know, how I've felt on my break, so I'll do that now. As I mentioned not too long ago, at least to you guys, it's been like 4 hours for me, I actually got some rest and was able to recuperate on this break because I made an active effort to not interact with my YouTube channel whatsoever and just completely write it off from my mind. And honestly, that's probably a big reason why my commentary has been so lackluster this episode, because I'm largely, you know, out of the loop of recording and everything. So while my commentary might not be awesome this episode, that comes at the very cool price of me actually being recharged and feeling better than I was, which I feel like is a small price to pay. I feel like that's a good thing. And I think we'll just go over coattails next, and that'll be it for her line art, quote unquote. And hey, here's a treat for watching this episode this far, huh? So some of you may remember a little while ago, I drew a dragon character. She was all black, she had glowy eyes, silver eyes and all, and she had like hair stripes in her hair. They're like not hair extensions, but I'm not remembering highlights, I guess. She has white stripes in her hair. I was pretty vague on the like public posts and all and like my fur affinity on who that character was, but if you're in the Discord you'll have a better idea of who she is, because I explained in the art channel when I first posted that, as well as the fact that currently for the month of October I am using her name as my name, and that is because that dragon lady is actually Vixie. Whoa. To be specific, that is Ember. And what Ember is essentially Vixie's dragon form. There's quite a bit of lore behind that, as you would imagine with, you know, a character having a separate form of existence, but I'll try to give the abridged version real quick. So basically, in the canon in which Snowy and Rosie and Vixie and all my other characters exist, alternate timelines and alternate dimensions are a pivotal thing to the plot, because at some point I am going to like write this as like a story and everything. It's not just, you know, headcanon world. I do want to write it at some point. And it just so happens that sometimes with the multiverse existing and there being alternate timelines, alternate realities, different versions of the same person, everything, sometimes things get crossed if weird shit happens. And that's what happened to Vixie. And also that's what happened to Ember, because Ember and Vixie are the same person from different timelines. Vixie is the Vixie where she is a coyote, and Ember is the Vixie where she is a dragon. They are the same person, but different people. And there was this big significant event that happened in both timelines, literally at the exact same time, in the exact same moment, in the exact same way, and that made it so the timelines got crossed and they became the same person. And for a while, Vixie was turning into Ember, and Ember was turning into Vixie, back and forth, and they were trying to figure out what the fuck happened, until they figured out, oh, we're the same person and timelines got crossed, and then they became literally the same person. And that's where the anthro version of Ember came from. That is the combination of Vixie and Ember, because Ember herself is not anthro, she's just a big ass regular dragon. So that's the abridged brief version of what that Ember character is all about, since, you know, I only really mentioned that in the Discord and nowhere else. Regardless, look at this cool lady. Look how cool she is. I think this is by far the best design I have done so far in Wheel of Fortune. This is awesome. I love it. So much so that I'm getting sweaty and I now need to take off my hoodie because I'm all hot. This is largely going to be silent coloring for the rest of the episode, which I know I didn't say a whole lot this episode anyway, but I'm sure a lot of you, I hope a lot of you like the time-lapsey stuff as well. So I will be coloring this cool Roserade lady for the next however long. But before I go, I would like to say, one, thank you for watching this far, and hopefully you stick around and watch until the end. But as your secondary reward for watching this far, that's the Let's Draw logo, that's not what I want, I am going to reveal the color palette before I actually put it down. Bum, 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 bum. And I also need a U up so I can use it as reference. As you can see here, which I'm actually going to bring this up a little bit. A category is the original Roserade colors that I dropped from this. And then the B colors are the colors I'm going to swap these respective colors to. So her main body, instead of being green, is going to be red and pink. Her flower hair is going to be black instead of white. Her roses are going to be teal and pink instead of blue and teal and pink instead of blue and red, and her metal accessories and such are going to be this like platinum color instead of gold. So without further ado, thank you for watching. Make sure to watch until the very end, because, you know, watch time is just as important as engagement. Leave a comment, by the way. And I will see you at the end of the video when she's all nice and colored and we can put a very, very cool cap on this character, because, like, oh my god, look at her. All right, see you in a bit. Hot diggity Dougie, everybody. Oh my god. As you will have seen, I did change up her color palette just a little bit. I decided to go with white hair instead of black hair, just to feel like it stood out a little bit more. Though I do kind of want to see real quick, because didn't I leave her old hair? Yeah. They're both pretty good, but I think the white hair fits her better. Regardless, oh my god. I absolutely cooked on this. This is insane. Very, very, very satisfied with this one. So now we just gotta sign it, and then we will be finally free, and I can give my back a rest. Which, of course, now that you have made it to the end of the video, thank you, first off. That is amazing that you sat through this whole thing. Make sure to leave a comment what you think of this character. I have a feeling things are gonna be pretty positive, because, like, oh my god, look at her. This is easily the best character I have made for Wheel of Fortune so far. She is awesome. Like, holy crap. As per usual, she's kind of complex, so I don't know if she's going to be her own OC, but if you would like to, feel free to leave a comment down below naming this character, which I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video. The Bouffalant Mama from the last episode, her name is Abigail, or Abby. I forget who did that. I think it was Sippy Kitsune. I forget. I'm sorry if that's incorrect. I will know who it was when Snowy goes to edit this, so thumbs up for me. Regardless, that is going to be this episode of Wheel of Fortune. A huge shout out to all of my current patrons. I love you all so much. If you genuinely enjoy this video, consider dropping a like and make sure to hit that subscribe button and become a puff if you haven't already, and hit the bell so it actually does something. If you want to support me in the channel, you can do so on Patreon for just $5 a month, or you can buy some art. My name's Vixie, and I will see you all in the next one.